Hello again, and welcome to the latest edition of the Mack Brown Show. My name is Jones Angel, alongside the Hall of Fame head coach of the Tar Heels, Mack Brown. We're going to be talking Carolina football for the next 60 minutes. Appreciate you joining us today. We'll look back at the matchup with Georgia Tech, preview the 108th meeting between Carolina and Duke coming up in Chapel Hill on Saturday, and a lot more. But, Coach, let's start with this past weekend. First of all, great to see you. And secondly, I know it was a long night for the Tar Heels in Atlanta. Georgia Tech scored 27 straight points after Carolina took an early lead against the Jackets. Teams kind of exchanged scores down the stretch, and the final score 45-22 Tech. After breaking this one down, I'm sure multiple times with your staff since the game, what were your major takeaways?
Well, Jones, it was a long night. We got back at 3:30 to Keenan in the morning, as you well know, and people don't understand how hard these young people work, and they still have school, and they still have their girlfriends, and they still have their issues at home, and so it was a tough weekend, and it would have been a tough weekend if you win. It's just that you don't worry as much about those late nights after a win. We're at a point in our program, Jones, where if we lose a game, it's a big game, and that's disappointing. And the reason we lost the game on Saturday night is that we turned the ball over 3 times in Georgia Tech territory, and defense fought and hung in there as long as they could, and then we had 2 fourth-down stops in Georgia Tech territory. So we lost 5 fumbles all of last year. We lost 3 fumbles Saturday night. Yeah. I mean, that's just so uncharacteristic of us, and nobody's good enough to win if you turn the ball over that much and don't gain any turnovers, but especially on their end of the field, and all of them led to points. So that was the difference in the ball game, where we can go back and look at a lot of different things that happened, but the turnovers were the difference in the ball game. Our defense really played hard. There was about 3 plays that gave up 100 yards rushing that we either missed a tackle or had somebody in the wrong position, and their skills really good. But I'm encouraged by what I saw on defense. We continue to get better, and the 45 points again is more a part of the turnovers and fourth down. Offensively, the disappointing thing is we score 59 points last week against Virginia. We have the 6th largest output of yards in our school history. And then I thought we probably felt too good about ourselves and walked around like I was worried about, and got hit in the mouth by Georgia Tech and didn't respond very well. And just in talking to the staff, I told them we look just like we did at Virginia Tech, and you can't keep making the same mistakes. So too many sacks, too many turnovers. So didn't rush the ball well at all. So you can't keep doing the same stuff. So we've got to improve. We got to improve now.
Coach, you mentioned the sacks, and after the game you said, all sacks aren't the same. Offensive linemen sometimes quarterback, running backs, tight ends, everybody plays a role in those. After reviewing the tape, was that the case on Saturday, that it was a little bit of everything as far as the 8 sacks Georgia Tech had?
Yeah, it always is, Jones. I always try to be as honest, brutally honest with our fans and the media as I possibly can. I'm not going to throw coaches under the bus, and I'm not going to throw players under the bus. And we don't have enough time on this radio show to go through everything that happened wrong offensively, and it'd probably be better, and it wouldn't be good for kids, I guess. But if you could actually take the video and show everybody exactly what happened, they would understand. What happens with media and with fans is they don't have a lot of information, and they can see it, they can go back and review it on the thing, but they don't know if the kid was sick, if he was hurt, if it was somebody else's responsibility that didn't help him on the play. I even get mad during the game sometimes and say, "Come on, Stacy, what happened, man?" He said, "Well, that was the other guy's fault." Because you can't tell in the spurt of a moment with people moving all over the place whose responsibility it is. And I have the ability to have a lot of different angles on the plane ride home to look and see every little play. And there's usually 5 to 7 plays that make a big difference in a ball game, and this one was no different. It's just that we've got to quit making those mistakes.
Coach, how did Jeff Sims change the game, in your opinion, at quarterback for Georgia Tech? He ended up with 240 total yards, 4 touchdowns in the game. Obviously, quality numbers for the Tech quarterback.
Yeah, when I saw Jeff as a freshman, I said, ooh, look out. This guy looks too much like Vince Young. He's tall, he can run, he's a good passer, but you got to make him throw it, and we didn't. So he changed the game. I think as poorly as we played and as many turnovers as we had on our end of the field, we still win the game unless he comes in and does what he did the second half. We didn't tackle him, or we did half the time. But when he made a play, it was a huge play. And he had a 38-yard run, he had a 50-yard run, and you can't have that happen. You gotta stop the run to win in college football, and you got to disrupt the quarterback. And with him, we did neither.
Coach, you were able to block a punt for the second time this season. It was Gio Biggers who came up with the big punt block this time, set up your early score. I know in looking for some things that went right for the Tar Heels in this one, certainly a quality play there in special teams.
Yeah, you can tell what kind of weekend I've had. I didn't even bring it up, and we haven't blocked one punt in 3 years now. No, Gio did a great job. I really like what I see of our special teams. They get better and better. We did miss a field goal, but it's the same. It's just the way things happened Saturday night. I don't know why we're 9-20 in Atlanta. I can't figure that out from Carolina, but it seemed like I told the guys. They said, "Well, no, nothing happened good." I said, "Yeah, you got to make it happen good. We won down there 2 years ago, so come on, man. It's not a place you can't win. But we line up, kick a field goal, it goes right through, and we have a guy move on the left side, Ed Montelis, and then we move it back and miss it by 6 inches. So that was kind of the night we had. And then we kicked the only thing Jonathan Kim hasn't done well all year is the one he kicked out of bounds, which we're back in the ball game. It's we got a chance, and then we give them the ball at the 35. So, overall, I really like the energy on our kicking teams. We have a chance. We had an 11-yard punt return by Josh Downs, along with the block punt, which led to points. So I like what I see with our special teams. We're getting much better in that area.
Yeah, there was a play when Carolina tipped a pass up in the air in the middle of the field. That's an interception almost every time, and went right to a Georgia Tech receiver. Felt like that kind of night at times for the Tar Heels, certainly this past weekend. Coach, just wanted to mention one individual before we take a break here, and we're going to start getting to some fans' questions. Kamari Morales, 7 catches in the game, had a touchdown. That tight end, he's really coming along here. He's had a couple nice games for you here early in the season. He
is, and last year Garrett Walston had to play every snap, and Garrett's playing his best ball right now, but he and Kamari are they're sharing some snaps, and that keeps both of them more fresh. And it's funny, I heard John Lilly say after the game, somebody said, well, why didn't you throw them? We used to gripe because we don't throw to the tight ends. Now we're griping because we throw into one tight end, not the other. John made such a good statement. The ball found Kamari on Saturday night. We didn't put him in for those plays. But we played 4 tight ends on Saturday night, so they're becoming a bigger factor in our offense, and that'll just keep getting better.
All right, we're going to head to break, come back. We have some questions from you for the head coach of the Tar Heels. We're going to preview the Duke matchup. You're also going to hear from a couple wide receivers, one from the past. I don't know if he can still go out there today. Corey Holiday, a great Tar Heel, and then also a current Antoine Green wide receiver for the Tar Heels. You're going to hear from both those gentlemen throughout the show as well. So a lot to do here on the Mack Brown Show from Learfield. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for being with us. We're here every Monday through the football season, except for the bye week, which is still a couple weeks away for the Tar Heels, but we'll be here Mondays with the head coach of the Heels, Mack Brown. It is his show, the Mack Brown Show, and part of this is we take questions from you, and you can always send those in. It is either through email, asktheheels@gmail.com, or you can send us a tweet. It is @JonesAngel. That's my address, 2 L's at the end of that last name on Angel. All right, Coach, let's get to a couple questions. This one comes from Jason, and talking about how high the expectations were and some tough games here early in the season, and how you try to keep the team from letting a frustration of a slow start bleed into the rest of the season.
Yeah, Jason, it's a great question. Those expectations are set by media. We have our expectations for our team all the time. and our expectations are to win every game. That's just who we are. So Gene Stallings is a tremendous ex-coach, Hall of Famer, and he told me one time when I just started coaching, he said, don't let anybody tell you that it's not a big game, because if you lose it, it will be a big game. And that's what happens, because our expectations are to win every game and to win the Coastal and to win the ACC and to go to the playoffs and win the national championship. And really, Jason, we're on track to do that. What we're doing, I think we're 16-3 at home, 19-3 at home. When we outrush the opponent, we're like 16-3 or something like that. And we're 1-9 when we don't. Well, the same thing when you're on the road. Right now, we're 10-4 at home. We're 5-7 on the road, and we're 2-1 at neutral sites. And I counted that as a home game for Georgia Tech because it's right on their campus, and they had a huge crowd there. But good teams win at home. Great teams win on the road. They win all the games, and we're not there yet. We played inconsistent at Virginia Tech, and we were very inconsistent again Saturday night. So we got to start. We got to continue to grow at home, and we need our super crowd on Saturday, Jason, but we've got to do a better job on the road. And I looked up just playing Virginia last week. They're 15-3 now, I think, at home. Since Bronco's been there, they're 6-20 on the road. Just harder to win on the road. And everybody says, why? Well, I don't know. Momentum changes. Your crowd's different. You're staying at different places. You're seeing all your family in the hotel before the game, and so there's just more stuff going on, all of which are excuses. Good teams win if it's in a parking lot, and those are facts. So we've got to mature, we've got to grow up and do a better job on the road.
Coach, you may answer this a little bit with that answer. You, of course, have been a part of great teams and teams that didn't care if they were playing at home or on the road. What were some of the qualities of those teams that this team is still trying to gain and to get to?
Well, they're very talented, but usually they're older. They're mature, yeah, and they get it, and they stay here. I was really worried that our offense got so much criticism, rightfully so, after the Virginia Tech game. And then they did a lot better job against a Georgia State team that's more talented. They had Auburn beat on Saturday night till the last second. So I knew they were a talented team, but we didn't even get credit for that offensively because everybody just thought, it's Georgia State, and they weren't any good. And we played great in the third quarter. And then you play unbelievably well on offense against Virginia. Sixth best in school history. When you start looking at yards, you score 59 points against a team we hadn't beaten in 4 years. And then I think that the natural, just the natural thought process of young people is, hey, we're pretty good. We're okay. And then they looked at Georgia Tech nearly beating Clemson on the road with a younger quarterback that wasn't as talented as Sims. And I thought it was the best thing that could have ever happened to us because offense is going to see Clemson couldn't move the ball either. And I just didn't think we had the same energy and had the same toughness and had the same, I've got to prove this offense is good Saturday night as we did against Virginia.
Coach Peter sent this question in asking about your schedule, saying Carolina's played a pretty difficult schedule to this point, much more difficult than a lot of teams play early in the year. Wanted to know how beneficial you think that may be as this year goes along, even though right now it's tough. And just to back that up a little bit, I mean, Carolina's already played 3 conference games in its first 4 games. 6 of its first 7 games are going to be ACC games as well. So certainly a difficult way to begin this year.
Yes, Jones. Who asked the question?
Peter sent that one in.
Peter, it's a great thought. I was laughing about it this morning. I don't have all of our team schedules in front of me, but you've got Miami opened up with Alabama, and that's tough, especially in a neutral site. You've got Florida State, played Notre Dame in the opener. That's tough. We had Virginia Tech on the road in the opener, and that's tough. And it lets us expose the concerns and problems we have that we need to get fixed. more than anything else, but it sets you back. If you win, it's great. You get great confidence. If you lose, it sets you back. And that's, I think all those were very attractive TV games, and that's why they were early in the year. I like it better when you start a little bit slower, but I didn't get to choose that schedule.
Coach Dave sent this one in about the chemistry between Josh Downs and Sam Howell, and wondering how that chemistry has grown so quickly. Josh had another game with 8 catches this past weekend.
Yes, they have tremendous chemistry, and Sam wants to win, and he knows Josh is going to be open most of the time, and he's going to catch it, and he's going to make yards when he does. He had so much speed in that Virginia game where he caught the hitch and outran everybody for the touchdown, and then he made the great catch in the corner. Georgia Tech did a good job of keeping his stuff underneath. So we've got to continue to find different ways to get Josh open and get the ball in Josh's hands, because he's one of the best players we've got. And Sam does depend on him a lot. When they start double teaming Josh and it's just not there, then the outside guys have to step up, and that's the next step we've got to take.
Coach, speaking of Sam, 8 turnovers for Carolina. They've all come from Sam, and that's a little harsh the way that it's played out, but he does have 4 interceptions and 4 fumbles as well. It looks, he is trying so hard and wants to win so badly. Have you had to talk to him at all about just letting it come to him a little bit, or is he past that and you kind of know what you're getting with him?
No, you don't have to talk to Sam a lot, but you do some. He's got tremendous pressure on him. If you up for the Heisman, our season's dependent on him, #1 draft pick, everybody's talking about the NFL. Then you add the name, image, and likeness stuff. That's new stuff on him. You got an agent, it's marketing, and so there's a lot of different things that are pulling at Sam, and he still keeps the same personality, but he's as even kill as he seems here. It's like that duck paddling under the water. He is a tremendous competitor. He comes over here every day and works just as hard. And the other thing, he's got the most visible position on the team, and he touches the ball every time. So if a ball is tipped, like it was at Virginia Tech and intercepted, that counts as an interception. Well, maybe we should have done a better job up front and got the defensive lineman's hands down. Or we tip a ball against Georgia Tech and they catch it. They tip a ball at Virginia Tech and Virginia Tech catches it. So it's not all his fault. We do have to take care of he's going to run more. We've got to take care of the ball when we're running better than we did Saturday night.
Coach, we've got an interview with a couple different wide receivers here coming up. One, Corey Holliday, a former great wide receiver for you, who is now on your staff as an assistant AD, and then a current wide receiver in Antoine Green. And from the Corey Holliday perspective, just so great to have so many of your former guys around the program and helping what you do.
Yeah, 8 guys on our staff that played for us when I was here before, and 6 of those guys played in the NFL. It's so much fun to have them all around. But Corey was one of the best. He was recruited by everybody in the country and decided to come here when we were 1-10, help us get it started. He was a captain on that first Peach Bowl team with Tommy Thigpen, who's also on our staff, and he got it started. And he is such a great mentor and role model for guys like Antoine Green. Antoine's just getting better and better and better, and there's a really high upside for Antoine. So this will be fun for our fans to listen to both.
All right, so you're going to hear that when we return, and then Coach Brown will be back a little bit later in the show to answer a few more questions, plus we need to preview the matchup with Duke. Still to come on the Mack Brown Show. It's the Mack Brown Show, brought to you by Top of the Hill, and for 25 years, Top of the Hill Restaurant and Brewery has been a pre- and post-game tradition with handcrafted beer, great food, and a terrific atmosphere. It is where Tar Heels come to celebrate. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Jones Angell. He's the Hall of Fame head coach of the Tar Heels, Mack Brown. Coach, our question of the night is brought to you by our friends at Refuel, and the winner of our question of the night is going to get a $25 gas gift card courtesy of Refuel, which has fountain drinks, chewy ice, guaranteed fresh coffee, high-performance gasoline, Refuel, fresh-made convenience. It comes from our friend Dennis, always sends in a bunch of great questions every week and sent in some good ones again this week, including this one, Coach. It seems the second quarter has been a struggle this year for the Tar Heels, and it's odd. It is the only quarter that Carolina has been outscored by its opponents. It's 48-13. Tar Heel opponents outscoring the Heels in that quarter. All the other ones, the Tar Heels had the advantage. Any thoughts, Dennis's question, any thoughts from you on why that is the case and why that one quarter has been so much trouble?
Dennis, it's been the weirdest thing. Since we've been here, it's been that way.
Yeah.
Last year, we have halftime at practice. We have a fourth quarter at practice. Last year, we started signifying second quarter just to try to let them understand you can still play in the second quarter. But I have absolutely no idea why we haven't been as good in the second quarter. We've tried to substitute more defensively so we can stay fresh. We've looked at every different aspect of it offensively, but you are right in that we need to correct it and we need to do better. But we also didn't do well in the fourth quarter Saturday night. We got outscored 8-18. So it's and we've been great in the fourth quarter. So these things have ebbs and flows, and we've just got to keep getting better.
Coach, you mentioned that score, a little bit of an unusual one, 18-8 in the fourth quarter. That's because Carolina had a 2-point conversion, and we had a question in also from Dennis about that play and Caden Baker, who ended up slipping on a different jersey and catching the 2-point conversion. Dennis's question was just the genesis of that play, and if you could tell us a little bit about Caden as well, who came in and made the catch.
Yeah, Caden's a young guy from South Florida that his dad actually started at center for Bobby Bowden at Florida State. And we think he'll be a really good player moving forward. He's getting a little playing time now, and we're going to lose some of these offensive linemen, so he'll step up. That play's one that we've been working on all year. We actually felt like that if we just get a stop in the fourth quarter, offense started playing better the second half and taking care of the ball better, and we were going to come back and win the game still. But defense then gave up too many big plays. So it was just, as we said, that kind of night. But good for Caden Baker. We felt like we needed to go for 2 because we were down by enough points. We were down by 15, and that would cut it to 13. And if we missed it, then we would go for 2 again the next time anyway. So that's what analytics has changed a lot in college football. But when you get down by more than 2 touchdowns, you're supposed to go for 2, and we were able to do that. And it was a really good play, outstanding execution, and something that we can use again down the road sometime.
Coach, a question from Cameron about the victory bell. Of course, on the line this weekend from the Carolina-Duke matchup, Tar Heels have won the victory bell in the last 2 matchups with the Blue Devils. Cameron's question is, how impactful is that bell? Is it something that your guys are energized by? And what actually happens with the bell for all the other weeks of the year when you're not playing Duke?
Cameron, anytime you have a rival game and somebody many years ago decides that this is going to be something that you play for, it separates that game from a lot of the others. And so the victory bell is very, very important. And in fact, those guys run to get it right after the game, and it's something that's very, very important to both schools, even to a point that there's been some arguments over it and some fights over it after the game, and we got to figure out where to put it. So if something happened where Duke won the game, our guys and their guys don't come together, because Duke had it 2 years ago when we first got here. They thought they were going to win the game because they're first and goal from the 1 or 2. And they put it right at the entrance of where their players leave the field. Well, that's then right. We win, and an amazing finish. We run over there to get it, and there's too many people around each other that got a little mouthing back and forth. So, but it is very important. It's important for our fan base as well as Duke's. It's important for our team. Where we do keep it is we keep it in the locker room, right outside of the locker room as you walk by it every day. Because it's a very important part of our history, and it's something that makes this game so special this weekend.
Coach, let's do one more, and then we'll take a break and start previewing that upcoming matchup with Duke. This one comes from Jeffrey. Your biggest concern and your biggest positive so far through the first 4 games?
Oh, gosh, Jeffrey, I think the biggest positive is that We've got a lot of talented young guys that they're usually inconsistent when you're young, but they're really talented. So the future of this program is unbelievable. We get our setbacks with a loss here and there, but we're on track to be really, really good. And the quarterback room's good. We're recruiting so well at the few positions that we need to, and we've got some great players on our campus. So that's the most positive thing. I get to see those young guys every day, and some of them aren't playing very much, but Josh Downs got 6 catches last year. He didn't play very much, and here he is, one of the best receivers in the country. So we've told our young guys, be patient, learn what to do, and your time's coming. What I don't like, the basic premise of football is if you run the ball and stop the run, protect your quarterback and disrupt the other quarterback, take care of the ball and force turnovers, that's how you win games and a kicking game. I'm really excited that our kicking game is now a factor and is going to start helping us win games. I'm really disappointed of the negative plays we've had on offense. You can't have penetration against the run, and you can't have sacks, and we've had too many of both. We've had more turnovers already than we had all last year. So it's just that's on us as coaches. We've got to clean all that up, and we've got to force more turnovers on defense. We forced 11 last year. We forced 5 this year. It's better, but last year was bad. So we need to pick it up, and to do that, you got to continue to do a better job of stopping the run on first down. So I see progress on defense. I see a great game, bad game on offense. I see inconsistency, and I see progress in the kicking game. So come on, offense, get on track. Let's start taking care of the ball better. Let's run the ball better. Let's make sure that we don't have the negative plays and therefore sacks. And get this thing back on track.
All right. Thanks for your questions all week long. Got some good ones this week. Appreciate that. And we're going to take a break, come back, and look forward to this weekend. Carolina back at home, starting a 3-game homestand. In fact, it starts with Duke at noon on Saturday. We'll preview the matchup with the Blue Devils after this on the Mack Brown Show from Learfield. It's the 108th meeting between Duke and Carolina and the battle for the victory bell. And, Coach, you have long placed emphasis on in-state matchups. This is the first of 3 such games this year. Comes up this weekend with Carolina hosting Duke.
Jones, I learned a long time ago that when your fans go to church with the other fans and they work with the other fans and they go to the grocery store with the other fans, they want bragging rights.
That's right.
And that's what beating the in-state teams do. They've all got friends from Duke or State or Wake, and they don't want to hear it, period. It's 100%. So it is important that you beat your rivals.
Coach, Duke's offensive numbers are really impressive, averaging nearly 545 yards per game, and it's a very balanced attack. 247 yards rushing, 297 yards passing on average.
Yes, quarterback's really good. He's consistent. He's throwing the ball for more than 70% completions. He's not turning it over. He can run. So he's managing the game really well. He came in our game last year in the second half and did some really good things. Now, I thought, I don't know who that guy is, but he looks pretty good. And he's a big, strong guy that is a good player. And then you've got Durant, who's the second most productive runner in the ACC, and he's really talented. You got Bobo, a tall wide receiver. Seems like he's 40 years old. He's been there so long. He's caught so many passes, so they're very well coached. So they're balanced, and they try to keep the ball away from you. And they've got a lot of good running game and play action off of it. They're hard to get to the quarterback because of all their play action and their ability to run. So our defense will have their hands full. I see our defense keep coming, but we're still making too many mistakes, and we've got to do a great job on Saturday to try to slow this offense down. I think they're averaging 38 points a game, so good for them.
Gunnar Holberg is the quarterback that Coach mentioned, and he mentioned some of those stars. Bobo leads the ACC with 34 receptions. Durant, second in the league in rushing, leads the league in rushing touchdowns, as Coach mentioned. Coach, obviously an important week for your team. It just feels like an important week for your team to bounce back, play well, be at home. I know you're excited for this one coming up.
Yes, the college football is crazier right now, Jones, than I've ever seen it. It's there's more upsets.
Yep.
There's more crazy games. I don't know why. Maybe it's a transfer portal. Everybody's a little different. Maybe young people are a little different than they used to be. I don't know. I can't figure this out. But each game is different. So you better get ready to play each week. And every game's important. I've told these guys, you don't get the Georgia Tech one back. You don't get the Virginia one back. So you enjoyed the Virginia one, you didn't enjoy the Georgia Tech one. And the thing that we all have to understand, a lot of guys played great Saturday night. And it's so sad for them that will go unnoticed because people don't realize. I used to say, we played bad. Well, as a team, our production wasn't what we wanted, but as individuals, a lot of guys played well, and we've got to build on that. And we got to get offense and defense to play good on the same night. Yeah. They need to vote and all come out and say, okay, we're all going to play this week. But as coaches, we've got to continue to help these young guys grow. We got enough players. We need to be playing better.
Noon kickoff between Carolina and Duke on Saturday. Radio-wise, we'll be on the air at 11 a.m. Coach, as always, thank you for your time. Great to see you. Look forward to talking with you again in the near future.
Thanks, Jones.